All right, so if you've ever tried to grow a new plant from a cutting, you know it can feel like a total roll of the dice. Well, today, we're going to dig into some secrets from the garden itself. We're looking at 4 super powerful, all-natural ways to help your cuttings not just survive, but really thrive. Let's get into it.
So let's kick things off with a question that drives pretty much every gardener crazy. You take this perfect little cutting from a plant you love, you pop it in some soil or water, you give it everything it needs, so why does it so often just give up and turn into a sad brown twig? It happens to everyone, but the reason why is actually pretty straightforward.
Think about it. The second you snip that stem, you created an open wound, and from that moment, a timer starts. It becomes this high-stakes race. That little cutting has to grow an entirely new root system from scratch, all while fighting off fungus and bacteria that are just waiting to cause rot.
And that really gets to the heart of the problem. To win this race, that cutting desperately needs 2 things. First, it needs a really strong signal, a sort of hormonal kick that tells it, hey, stop what you're doing and grow roots right now. And at the exact same time, it needs a shield, something to protect that open wound from getting infected while it's vulnerable.
Okay, so first up, let's talk about the heavy hitters. These are the natural stimulants that actually provide that grow roots now signal we were just talking about. These are what I like to call nature's hormone heroes.
And honestly, the undisputed champion in this category has got to be Willow Water. It's kind of considered the gold standard of natural rooting methods, and for a really good reason. I mean, have you ever seen a willow branch fall into a stream? It almost immediately starts sprouting new roots. That is not a coincidence.
See, the secret ingredient is a compound called Indolebutyric Acid, or IBA for short. And get this, IBA is the exact same active hormone that's in most of the commercial rooting powders you buy at the store. Willows are just naturally loaded with the stuff. Plus, they have salicylic acid, which helps fight off disease. It's a killer 1-2 punch. And you know what the best part is? You can make this liquid gold for free. All you have to do is find some young, bendy willow twigs, the ones with the green or yellow bark. Just chop them up, pour boiling water over them, and let them steep for a day or 2. Then you just strain it, and you're good to go. You can soak your cuttings in it, or just use it to water them. Now, our second hormone hero is something you might actually have sitting on your windowsill right now, aloe vera. It's way more than just something you use for sunburns. For propagation, it's basically like a living bandage. Aloe is amazing because it works on so many levels at once. It has that salicylic acid to fight infection, but it also has these things called glucomanins that actually encourage cells to divide and grow. And maybe most importantly, that thick gel forms a physical seal right over the cut, protecting it from all the bad stuff.
And using it literally could not be any easier. You just slice open a fresh, juicy leaf and dip the raw end of your cutting right into that gel. That's it. Then you just plant it like normal. It's an instant all-in-one treatment.
Okay, but what if your plant is already pretty easy to root? What if it doesn't need a huge hormonal boost? Well, sometimes all the cutting really needs is a little bit of protection. And that's where our protective guardians come into play.
Our 2 guardians here are honey and cinnamon. Now, it's a super common myth that these things contain rooting hormones. They don't. Their magic is all about their powerful antifungal and antiseptic abilities. They basically create a little sterile force field around the cut, stopping rot in its tracks and just giving the plant's own natural hormones a chance to do their thing. If you're going to use honey, you'll want to make a simple solution. Just dissolve about a tablespoon in some hot water. But, and this is important, let it cool down completely before you use it. Then just dip your cuttings in before you plant them.
Okay, but listen, this is a really critical detail. You have to use raw, unpasteurized honey. That cheap, clear stuff you get in the little bear bottle, it's been heat-treated, which kills all the good antimicrobial enzymes. Without those, you're really just dipping your cutting in sugar water, which can actually feed bacteria and make the rot even worse.
Cinnamon is even easier. You just roll the damp end of the cutting right in the powder. But here's a pro tip. This is where it gets really interesting. A lot of gardeners use a combo method. They'll dip the cutting in willow water first to get that growth hormone signal, and then they'll give it a light dusting of cinnamon for protection. It's really the best of both worlds.
So we've got our 4 natural contenders, but the big question is, how do they actually perform? Let's put them all head to head and see how they stack up against each other, and against those synthetic rooting powders you buy at the garden center.
This table breaks it down perfectly. The synthetic powders, with all that concentrated IBA, are probably your best bet for really tough things, like hardwood cuttings. Willow water is absolutely fantastic for woody shrubs. Think roses or hydrangeas.
Aloe vera really shines with succulents and herbs. And honey or cinnamon? Perfect for the easy stuff, like mint or basil, that just need a little protective boost.
And what's absolutely amazing are the numbers here. So yeah, the synthetic stuff leads the pack with like a 90 to 95% success rate. But look how close Willow Water gets. We're talking 80 to 85% success. And the others aren't far behind that. For something that's basically free, those are some seriously incredible odds.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. What's the big takeaway here? How do you actually put this all together into a game plan? Well, it really just comes down to picking the right tool for the job.
So, let's just boil it down to a simple plan. If you're trying to root something woody, go brew some willow water. If you need a quick, easy, all-in-one solution for most of your houseplants, just grab an aloe leaf. And if you're propagating things that root easily anyway, a little bit of cinnamon or raw honey is the perfect insurance policy to prevent failure.
At the end of the day, all these methods mean you can turn your own garden into a little laboratory. You've got the tools, and now you've got the science behind them. So the only real question left is, which one of these experiments are you going to try first?